Hey there guys, how's it going? Thank you very much for tuning your tube to Spread the Love Not STDs. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday because today I'm going to bring back a very popular series on my channel from back in the day, and that is Storytime Tuesday. And I kind of wanted to use this series as a way to give you guys updates and stories of what has happened in my life in the past few years. And I wanted to kick this one off with something that really impacted my life when it happened, and that was the passing of my dog Madden. Now, for those of you who remembered, I had a corgi named Madden from back in the day, and he was my first ever pet. He was my first dog, my first pet, and my first corgi. And when we got him, he was I guess he was like a family gift because he was a family dog, although my cousin was the one that got him. And we got him back in March of 2008. I believe he was about 3 months old at that time, but we named him Madden after the popular NFL game Madden in 2008. And he was our first pet, so it was kind of like difficult or hard to gauge the family into, you know, kind of getting used to or getting acquainted with an animal being around the household. But as anyone has ever had their first pet before, you know that after a while they start to grow on you. And for those who were skeptical in your family, whether it be your parent or your grandparent or any of your siblings, eventually they start to win them over. But Madden was our first pet, and he really did teach us a lot. I feel like having a pet is a lot like, it's kind of a hybrid between having a best friend and also having a child. There's a lot of responsibility associated with owning a pet, with taking care of them, with feeding them, with walking them, with, you know, maintaining and making sure that they're healthy, you know. And there's also an aspect of friendship there. There's a lot that you can learn from having a pet. You learn how to love, you learn how to care, you learn how to receive love from pets, and you just get a bond that you can't really get with anyone else with a pet. And Madden was very impactful in that way for me. When we first got Madden, I believe I was in around high school, my sophomore year or junior year of high school, and I was a bratty teenager back then. I didn't care about anything or anyone but myself. And over time, I guess, you know, when I got into college, I think that was when I really started to pay more time with Madden and just having him around the household. And he really did teach me a lot of things. One very interesting story that I learned is, you know, when my first perspective of pets and animals were just living beings without personalities or without cognitive thoughts. I just thought that they were just breathing animals. So I didn't necessarily have like bonds or expectations for pets. And little did I know that corgis had really, really interesting personalities. They are divas in every sense of the word diva. If anyone's ever had a corgi, they would know. But I also didn't realize how smart they could be. When Madden was young, I want to say in his first year of life, we had him at home, and this is a story that I tell a lot of people, but we had him at home, and there was one evening we wanted to take him to the park, and we wanted to take him to his favorite park. We wanted to walk him around and play fetch with him, and for some reason that day he did not want to leave the house. And we were wondering, like, what the hell's wrong, Madden? Come on, let's go. And every single time we would try to walk him to the door, he would run right back. And he would run right back to the living room with my grandmother, and he would not leave her side. And we were just so curious. It was so odd. It was very odd behavior for him. You know, he was a young puppy. He was always excited about going out, but for some reason that specific day, he did not want to leave my grandmother's side. And so he said, okay, we'll stay home today. And a couple of hours later, my grandmother was telling us that she wasn't feeling well. And she said, oh, please, I really need to go to the hospital. I'm not feeling well. So we're like, okay, we took her to the hospital. We were hoping it wasn't anything serious. And they examined her and they had found out that she had appendicitis. And we always theorized that if we had left to the park that day, we probably would have lost her. And I think that, you know, Madden for some reason was able to sense that there was something wrong with her. I don't know if he knew that it was something too serious, but he knew that she wasn't feeling well, even before she did. And dogs and animals in general are very cognitive in that sense. They do have that like sixth sense where they can kind of detect things like that. And it's very interesting. And I've learned this just over the years, just by being around other people's pets and just being around other animals in general. They really do have that sixth sense where they can detect certain things. And, you know, that specific day, I think that was the pivotal moment where Madden was officially a part of that family, just by showing how much he loved and cared. I think that was like the pivotal point in his life. And that wasn't, that was the beginning of many great memories with Madden. And I owe a lot to Madden. On January 25th of 2019, he began limping that week, and we weren't really too sure what was happening, but we didn't think too much of it until it got serious and he wasn't able to walk. So we decided to take him to the animal hospital, and they assured us that it wasn't anything serious. They thought it was a pinched nerve. They thought, there was just something common with corgis, with the long spines and the short legs. They thought it was a pinched nerve. They didn't think it was too serious. And so they said, okay, it's Friday night. We can't really do anything over the weekend, but we can keep him for the weekend and we can run an x-ray or an MRI on Monday and see what's wrong. So, it was a long weekend, but we kept him over there. And on Monday, they did the x-ray and the MRI on him. And on Monday, Madden was diagnosed with hemangiosarcoma, which, if anybody knows what that is, it is a very terminal form of cancer, common with dachshunds and corgis, just any animal with long spines. And essentially what happened was Madden had grown a tumor in his spine, and we were told a few things. We were told that we could operate surgery on him. It would be expensive, it would be painful, and the maximum benefit is we'd be extending his life at most 3 to 6 months. But his quality of life would be close to horrible. He would be in pain, he wouldn't be able to walk again, and he just wouldn't be the same. The other option was option B, which was to put him down. That was the hardest decision that my family and I had to make. And we obviously ended up going with option B because we loved him so much and we did not want to see him suffer in pain. I remembered on Monday, I got the phone call while I was at work. I walked into work thinking that I was fine. I walked into work thinking I was going to go home and Madden was going to be there, and I was going to spend the rest of the day with him. I got the phone call around 2 p.m. and I just remembered walking away from my desk and into a private office and just sobbing for half an hour. I was in so much disbelief. I faced denial, I faced anger, I faced acceptance, I faced regret, I faced everything all at once. But I was so overwhelmed that the only way I could show it was crying. And I didn't know how to process it. So the next day we decided to take him home. And we didn't want to put him down right away. He had spent the weekend at the hospital. He spent 3 days there. We wanted him to be comfortable at home. Our planning was to take him back the following Saturday to put him down then. On Thursday, January 31st, Madden passed away. At home, on the comfort of his favorite bed. Once again, I was at work. I didn't think that it was going to happen so quickly. I actually had plans for people to meet him that day. And he couldn't make it. He didn't make it to the weekend. It really didn't hit me right away. I got home that day and I saw Madden just laying there. He looked like my dog, but when I went to pet him, he was gone. And I guess I was just in such shock that when we had called the person to take him for cremation, it wasn't until they put his body in the body bag that I was uncontrollably crying again. Madden was my favorite pet. He was my first pet. He was the one that taught me what having a pet was like. And I don't think I will ever get a special bond with any pet the way I did with Madden. And that's not to say that I will never love a pet the way I love Madden. But after Madden passed away, I made a promise to myself that any pet that I would ever get after him would be adoption from shelter, because he taught me how valuable a pet's life is. And just knowing that there are shelters out there that have pets, that some of them probably are just like Madden, are just animals that are in need of love. I told myself, and I made a promise to him, that my next pet will be a saved life from a shelter. And that's where I got two beautiful little kittens that originally were fosters, but we ended up keeping them because they were just too sweet. And in my next story time, I will make sure that I tell the story about how I got my two beautiful kittens now. But anyway, if you guys have a similar story about your first pet, about the pet that you currently have, about wanting to get a pet in the future, please feel free to tell me below. I would love to hear other people's stories about their pets. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.